I'm not doing an intro. I'm getting straight into this. Phil, what do you think the big news is that JB and I have both found out that broke during the recording of the last podcast and that you have no idea about right now?
Can I guide him a little bit?
No. Let's see what he says. Nothing.
Right, with nothing. So, Tim, evidently you kept yourself pretty cool and calm and collected. JB just could not say, both on the recording and when we finished the last recording 2 minutes ago, he's not stopped saying, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We both walked up to get a drink and go to the loo, and he was just saying over and over again,
I've never played poker with JB, but after that, I think I will clean him out.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Okay.
So the only other bit of information you gave was this would be some of the biggest rugby news in years.
Would you agree with that?
It's a huge story.
It's huge, right? So, let me ask you another question. If I was going to write, someone just gave me a pad of paper and said, look, JB, just write the storyline for season 10 of World Rugby now, whatever we're on, what would I write? Who would be the characters that I'd like to write with?
Eddie Jones going to another international country.
Which one?
New Zealand.
Different one.
France.
Different one.
Australia.
How many years?
5 years.
Nailed it.
You nailed it,
Really? Really?
You nailed it.
Eddie Jones has got a 5-year deal as
Dave Rennie's
Australia
been fired.
head coach. Dave Rennie is done.
Dave Rennie's done? What?
Yeah.
So I thought it might be, as in not this, but I thought there might be a likely conclusion of the Eddie Jones story, as Eddie Jones might be a consultant for this World Cup. Eddie Jones said, Dave Rennie just binned.
He's gone.
Wow.
Tell you what, he's going to pick up a great job next. He's a good coach and a good man.
Dave Rennie is a good coach. And wow.
Yeah.
That is... I'm astonished that Rennie's gone.
I think Leinster have just found their new head coach.
Yeah.
That works perfectly.
Yeah.
But more's the point.
Wow.
I wonder if Eddie Jones has gone in, he said, I'll take the job. I mean, it's huge anyway.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's taken the job. It's something we were talking about. The
exactly
Aussie rules and stuff. The 60
exactly what I was thinking.
I would have said, yeah, I'll take it, but only if I can pick anyone I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly where my mind...
or whatever, the 140 kg, 6 foot,
yeah.
1 million.
First phone call he makes me up, Marfu, he's going to win a World Cup.
Maffea, I think it is.
Maffea. Yeah.
But I think he's going to... I hope he doesn't win a World Cup.
So, if he...
Christ almighty.
If he gets all the talent available to him, they could win a World Cup. If the boys playing outside of France aren't available, or they can only pick 3, or he can only pick over 60 caps, then probably not. But if he gets everyone available...
This World Cup roulette is just mental. Right? It is mental that
but surely, JB, Eddie Jones is so terrible. He's awful. He's a terrible coach. This is great for England, right? By your judgment and your assessment of Eddie Jones, this is great for England.
It's like the Mourinho thing, isn't it, though? It's like Mourinho over 2 years, great. Mourinho over 5 years, forget it. And it's the same with Eddie Jones. So I expect him to get some good early results. And then I expect it to all come crashing down. But who cares? You know, if you were going to have a coach for a year... You probably would look at Eddie Jones because he's an extreme man.
If only England could have appointed Eddie Jones to replace Eddie Jones.
Well,
1 year out from a World Cup, there's no one better to appoint.
But we've already discussed this. It's a continual revolving door between Stuart Lancaster and Eddie Jones.
It is.
That's what they need.
That's the dream.
I actually think they've got the best of both worlds. Steve Borthwick. England are in a better situation than Australia. But it does really point to the thing which I've been saying about Wales and England, and it's really unhealthy. It's really unhealthy, which is how important the World Cup is. You know, if they win it, and I've said this about England, I'm sure the same thing applies to Australia, and any Australian listeners who know about these things can reply in kind. But if Australia win the World Cup, all the terrible decision making that has come before it, like the treatment of Israel Folau and all those bits and pieces, everything they've done will be justified by the fact that they've won the World Cup.
Has Folau played for Tonga?
Yes, he has.
Imagine. Because Eddie would just want to win a World Cup.
Yeah,
and
it's the same for England. So everything they've done wrong doesn't matter. Win the World Cup. Look, So all of these. So Nick Evans, right, is not with England full time because allegedly they cannot afford Nick Evans on a full-time contract.
Or Steve Borthwick has someone else already in mind that he wants as his attack coach.
Well, they will.
Which I thought I was certain it was going to be Eddie Jones appointed as Borthwick's attack coach.
Yeah.
Well, I've got this on pretty good authority.
I also may have. I may have some. I've heard some things, and potentially he knows who he wants as his attack coach.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
and so Nick Evans is a short-term appointment.
So I heard Nick Evans cannot afford to get Nick Evans out of his contract, but they will do after the year's end. That's my understanding of the situation.
Well,
Regardless, these unions are throwing big money at big name coaches, and I'm not sure they're doing all of the groundwork underneath it to make sure they're successful. They're looking at sort of like the end thing when actually
without
they need
the foundations.
there's no foundations to it.
But the value is in scarcity, as you know, supply and demand, and there's only one World Cup, and it only comes around every 4 years.
Is it so unhealthy to think like that?
I do understand that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so
it makes this World Cup is going to be fascinating.
Yeah,
because I'm just looking now. Australia and England are in the same side of the draw.
Yes, they are.
But what that means is, if they both finish top or both finish runner-up, they avoid each other until potentially the final.
Yeah, it's more interesting for the Gatland Eddie Jones head-to-head because they're in the same pool.
Oh, yeah.
They are. Yes.
So
you could see either England should finish top of their pool. Let's put it out there because they've got Japan, Argentina. Obviously, they've lost to Argentina very recently. England should be able to beat Argentina, and then Samoa and Chile. Whereas Wales, Australia, that'll be very tough for who finishes first or second. So likely, and let's not rule out Fiji, who are the other third, but likely Borthwick will face either Gatland or Eddie Jones.
Either way, it's
in the quarters.
Yeah. Fascinating.
So, I mean, the World Cup, bloody hell, the World Cup should be like a celebration of like healthy nations and progressing the game forward. It's going to turn into basically this cathartic kind of. No, not catharsis. That's not quite the right word, but like the Schadenfreude of just watching unions go bankrupt one after the other after they exit.
Which Aussie players are currently not involved? That if Eddie Jones, we're jumping a few steps ahead, so maybe we can save this for a future podcast. But I'm just thinking, what are the Aussie players off the top of your head?
Well, I guess Scott's. I mean, the answer is I don't know. The answer is I really don't know without looking into it. I mean, I don't know how many of the names from yesteryear are in Japan who are still more than capable of playing. Right. Yeah, I just don't really look at it.
Excuse me, losing my voice again. Second rows, just off the top of your head, do you think the Arnold twins, Mefea, if he doesn't go for France, Adam Coleman, Rob Simmons?
Yeah,
there's four good locks there.
Yeah, to start with, and locks is
and that's in addition to Skelton.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Yes, well, Skelton's of La Rochelle.
But he has been involved because they have...
Because you've got you can have three players.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's...
Karevi's been in Japan.
Wade
Cooper's been in Japan.
Corabetti in Japan?
Bernard Foley in Japan. Corabetti might be.
Marika.
There's going to be loads of lads. There's going to be loads of lads. When you really sit down and go through it, you'll find just so many. So many.
Yeah, there will be plenty. Benny Taps is playing for the Sharks.
Get Benny Taps in. Perfect.
In Durban.
Right, so that's a little detour from what this podcast was going to be, which is us just predicting. I suppose we can give our... would you rather go with who would you select in the England squad, or who do we think Steve Borthwick is going to pick? Well, I suppose it's more fun to go who we think.
Well, should we just go? Because I've actually got the starting autumn 22
right. So should I give
squad in front, and should we go run through that position by position and say who we'd change, who we'd bring in?
Go on then.
Yeah. Did you say 22? Oh, as in
autumn. So
20,
autumn
right,
20.
Gotcha,
so autumn, last autumn.
Okay, cool.
What's just happened to my spreadsheet? Why can't I see half of it? That's interesting.
If we can go position by position, that's good rather than...
What on earth has just happened? I think I've just... No, nothing's hidden. Excuse me.
Well, I'll
there we go.
Oh,
right, I'm in it. I'm in. Don't quite know what I did there.
So Lou said...
Lou said Genge,
Mako and
Mako, Bevan, and it was the only position where they had 4 for a single position.
On Valrapava Ruskin.
Valrapava Ruskin.
Valrapava Ruskin will be in, and I would pick him in. I'm going to go Valrapava Ruskin, Genge, and Marler.
Marler's got a good shot of coming back in. Yeah.
Those would be the 3 loose heads for me.
Yeah. I'd go with that.
Marler.
Genge.
Genge, yeah.
Genge definitely in.
And then
Mako?
Mako's an interesting one because, and we spoke about this, his work around the park is exceptional. His hands are brilliant. His scrummaging is not as good as the other boys.
It wasn't good, not as good as it was. He did actually go through a bit of a purple patch with the scrimmaging.
Valrapava Ruskin's a 130 kg man.
He's a beast, absolute beast, and he's playing well.
He is.
Trying to think if there's anyone else who I'd consider.
It's one
Not
of the
really.
It's one of the positions where
Bevan Rod.
England are stacked. So Hooker.
So are we agreed on the 3 then, Phil? And JB's going for not Valrapava Ruskin, but
No, I'll go with Val.
Oh, so
Yeah.
who's not playing then? Are you
You'd have Rod.
No, I wouldn't have him.
Marler,
You'd have Genge, Marler,
And Valrapava.
Oh, okay, we're all agreed.
We're all
there.
agreed.
Cool.
Unanimous. Hooker was LCD injured.
Injured.
It was then the original squad was named with Singleton and McGuigan.
Yeah.
Singleton's obviously injured, but then Cowan-Dickey.
Blamire.
Jamie George got called up.
Oh yeah.
So I think Jamie George will definitely be there.
Yeah.
I think
and then it'll the other
probably
2
George
fit ones.
McGuigan.
Yeah, McGuigan will be 2, and I'd go for Blamire, but Jack Walker's the other contender.
Jack Walker's a good shout.
I'd go Blamire, McGuigan, and George.
Yeah.
Maguire, McGuigan, George. I don't think there's enough quality there. Who would I be looking at?
There's not many options other than
Yeah,
that.
so
the players who've been in the
Dolly. I think Dolly.
Not fit yet.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Is he not quite?
No, he's not quite. He'll probably be back by the end of the month.
Yeah, it's too. That might be too soon then.
So the players who have been in the squad.
Walker's a
Nick
good shout.
Dolly's been in the squad. Tom Dunn was in the squad a few years ago.
Tom Dunn's just not doing it at the moment.
Ogre has been in the squad previously.
Nope.
As a training.
He's also in
squad member.
France.
That's okay though, because
Isn't he?
the players that are
He was playing
temporarily.
for Tigers a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago.
He's now gone to
Has he?
Toulouse.
They let him and
Toulouse? Yeah, Toulouse.
Bordeaux, isn't it?
Bordeaux, yeah.
Oh, something like that. He's in France. It doesn't really matter where.
Yeah,
Can't remember, actually.
Fair enough.
It might be neither of those.
Okay.
So what was you going for anyone different than you?
George McGuigan.
I'm
and
going
then-
Blamire, but Jack Walker might be a shout.
I'd probably go Jack Walker.
Jack Walker's a
actually.
great shout. I think Jack Walker's. No one really. It's worrying, isn't it? No one really stands out.
Hmm.
Which is partly a consequence of Eddie only picking 2 hookers in many squads, as Phil
Frequently,
pointed out.
yeah.
Cheers, Eddie.
Yeah. So
he's been
we'll see.
burning the bridge backwards,
Yeah.
so that when he plays them in the either quarter final or World Cup final, he can win.
Blamire or Walker then as the third
As the
one.
third.
Take your pick.
Yeah, I'd go Walker.
Tight head prop then.
Tighted prop, Sinks and Joe Hayes.
Interesting.
With a 2, and this is the start in autumn 22. I can't remember.
I'm
if
going
anyone
to say
came in.
neither of those are going to be in the
Oh,
England
Will
squad.
Stewart came in but got
yeah.
injured.
Neither of those 2 will be in. I'm going to go Will Stewart. I'm going to go
he's fit.
Trevor Davison and Dan Cole.
Dan Cole is indeed back, is my understanding.
Interesting. I
Trevor
think you're probably right with that.
He's going to drop Sinclair.
I probably would.
And what
as
will
well.
Sinclair do then? Just cry on TV and thank Saviour World?
More breathing.
More breathing techniques.
Be interesting for Sinclair if he does. But I think you're probably right.
What a waste of money.
You could go Kerrod or Collier from
I
Queen's.
tell you who's having...
Collier is not a bad shout. Phil.
I'll give you a name who's having a great season. Balmain.
Yeah, he's injured. I would definitely. He
Yeah,
would have been.
if he was-
I would have had Cole, Stewart, and Balmain if Balmain was fit. But
Okay. Cole and Balmain, that is just scrum.
yeah,
Don't worry about anything else.
but Newcastle Falcons set piece is solid, and against
Yeah.
Leicester they were 100% at the scrum.
Yeah,
So
that's a good shout.
So we'll see. But
What if this is... No, he's not the quality of the other loose heads. But Sale all going well, and Sam McIntyre is the starter. You know he's old, but they just need one World Cup. Just saying, Just saying.
He's a big boy as well.
Huge.
Where is Allo?
Yellow is in Racing.
Racing, but not playing.
No.
He would be eligible, though, because he's only there as a result of the Wasps folding.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, not really any outstanding candidates.
No.
I mean,
Hooker and tight head. Loose head stacked. Hooker and tight head.
Yeah.
So,
Bit light.
Mauler, who's your hooker starting?
George.
JB George.
George and tight head?
No, I'd say my starting loose head would be Vaurapava Ruskin with Genge off the bench.
Okay. No Mauler?
Probably not.
No, Mauler.
I might be tempted for Marler then Genge. Valor Ruskin. I am interested to see him in an England shirt because he's been playing very, very well. But
it's just not
hard.
exciting.
It's hard.
Not an exciting front row.
Oh,
the
I don't want an exciting front row. I want a front row that's not going to get bullied by Franz Malherbe.
Oh, yeah, but Malherbe is not an exciting player, but he's a bloody exciting front rower.
Yeah, but
I think
that's what England have got to
Ruskin
create.
is an exciting front rower.
That's what England have got to create.
He's 130 kegs, ginormous legs.
He is massive.
Pretty squat as well. Low centre of gravity.
So
front row, underwhelming.
Yeah, I'm underwhelmed. Second row?
Second row. So the 4 or 6, depending on how you slice the cake, were Marrow,
Yes.
Johnny Hill,
Yes.
Hugh Tizard.
No, I'm going to say he won't be involved.
I would have Tizard involved.
I like him. I like him.
like-
I'm just thinking of Borthwick. He loves his massive men. Tizard's not small, but I'm thinking he'll go Marrow, Hill, and then he'll go for 2 big lumps.
Chesham. I'm sure he won't be keen on Chesham.
It'll be who am I thinking? Sorry, Chesham definitely.
Yeah.
And
Launchbury would be the other big one if you could pick him.
He's in Japan. That'll be difficult.
yeah,
But he's back for next season.
Oh,
isn't
you
he?
would definitely pick him if you could. Who's the other second row I'm thinking of? Hold on.
Dave Atwood.
Marrow, Hill.
So the other ones in the autumn were
Stuart Hooper.
Ribbons.
Oh, Ribbons. Yeah, he'll go for. I think he might pick Ribbons.
With then Coles and Courtney Laws.
Yeah.
Marrow, Ribbons. Who did I say? God,
Johnny Hill.
Johnny Hill and
Our first podcast was exceptionally long.
yes. What did I just say? My God, my brain's fried. you guys talk about it. I'll work out what I was saying.
So Marrow and Tizard, they look like a pairing to me because they play together. Hill has done very, very well, so he has to stay in. I didn't think he's going to do well this season. He has.
Yeah, I would definitely have Hill, and because he's so big as well.
Chesham is an exceptional player. Exceptional. He needs to be in the squad ASAP. And then whoever the last one was, which is Tim thinks Ribbons. I mean, I'll accept it, but it doesn't drive me wild.
So I would go for 4 true second rows. I go
agreed.
Itoje, Hill. I would have Tizard, and then probably Ollie Chesham.
So you would leave out Dave Ribbons.
I probably would leave out Dave Ribbons. The other one that might be worth a shout now he's back fit would be Ezekwe.
Elliot Stook, maybe, because I'm just thinking of the type of player that. No, he won't go for Elliot Stook.
No,
he
won't go
won't.
for Stook.
Okay, I would.
Charlie Ewells is out injured for the rest of the season.
I would go as the 2.
You'd have Harry Wells, JB.
I would have Harry Wells, actually. I was thinking of saying Harry Wells.
Itoje, Ribbons, Hill, Chesham is mine. My 4.
I'd probably just swap
You swap Ribbons for Tizard.
Tizard. Yeah,
fair enough.
What would I do?
just all the Leicester boys.
Yeah, because we've not even spoke about George Martin.
Not yet. He plays most of his work at 6.
He hasn't played for a while. He's been injured.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Steve Borthwick loves him. So
I quite like him too. So that's like Martin. So you got basically. So the problem with Martin is he's a direct replacement for Laws. I think. So, do you want Laws at 6? I'd say you probably do.
Yeah, but you can have Martin as if Forge gets injured.
Let's stick on the second rows then.
Okay.
If we're going for 4 second rows, your 4 are Itoje, Hill, Chesham, and
Tizard or Ribbons or Alex Coles.
Yeah, the last name doesn't bother me.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Whoever you want.
Back row then.
6.
Probably look
big courts.
Big courts.
Could be captain.
Could well be captain.
Although he's not played much rugby this season.
I've cheated before the podcast and I wrote down my names for the back row.
Okay.
It's not cheating. It's been prepared. There's nothing cheating about it.
We're just winging this.
I could see Tom Curry playing at 6, because Ben Earl is coming back in.
Ben Earl has to play, right?
Yeah. So I could see Tom Curry being thought of as a bit of a 6, but basically the back rows I've got, the flankers are Tom Curry, Ben Earl, Jack Willis, Tom Pearson, Courtney Laws.
Pearson, interesting. I do like Pearson.
He's a massive. He's huge,
and he's athletic as well.
Yeah, he is.
He gets about.
So, and I've picked 7. How many back row are in Eddie Jones' squad there?
The squad that we had. This is the first squad. So Courtney Laws, although he was then injured, I can't remember who came in for him. But we had Jack Willis, obviously in France, Tom Curry, Lewis Ludlam, Tom Pearson, Billy V, Sam Simmons.
Now, can I just point out someone whose reputation is growing rapidly in rugby circles and whose move seems very nicely timed to coincide with the World Cup, and also maybe with some official communication with people in the know, is Tom Willis coming from Bordeaux over to Saracens. I'm not sure that's the next year or that's immediate effect.
It's
That's
next year.
season.
But I just think like that, to me, sounds like he has plans to go on to England. I'm sure he does. But it sounds like an England signing.
Mm.
That said, would I pick him? No, I wouldn't. So I think
Bordeaux have definitely been contacted to say if he's selected, can you make him available for that extra week? Yeah.
Okay. So
that's interesting.
I'm just trying to think,
because they would have to make him available because it's an international window.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's the extra week.
The extra weeks.
Interesting.
if I'm going to have to pick,
They'd probably say no. Get stuffed.
yeah, no. If I had to pick a back row for England from scratch, Tom Curry is a 7. Okay, he has to be 7. The 8, I'm going to go Ben Earl.
8 Ben Earl.
Well, he plays like an 8. He's a ball carrier.
You've then got the Ben Earl tax
Hang
because
on.
he's even lighter than.
Right. Let me just think.
Sam
Let
Simmons.
me work this through in my head. Okay, we need Courtney Laws in, right?
If he's fit, I would definitely have
You
him.
need the third line-out option. One.
I'd have him in the squad, but I'd have him in the squad, and I'd probably start him, but not. But I may start him at second row.
Okay, so let's just say you do start in the
Interesting.
second row. Who is your third line-out option in the back row?
I don't care.
Tom Curry can be.
You're the one that say why do people make such a fuss about someone being 6'6" rather than 6'4"?
Oh yeah, but I'm not picking the team that.
What's wrong with Alex? If you had Alex Donbrant in your back row, what's wrong with jacking him up?
Damn it!
Don Brandt's a good shout.
Damn it!
He becomes another option.
He's not.
Tom Curry can go up.
Tom Curry
Ben,
can go up.
say if you had Curry,
Jack Willis can go up.
say if you had but if you had Billy V, Ben Earl, and Sam Simmons, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm saying Billy V is not going to be in the squad, and possibly Sam Simmons is not going to be in the squad.
I agree on both
Well,
those.
Sam Simmons, because you've only got this finite window as well. Like, if he was the best starter, it wouldn't matter who's going to France, but he's a kind of coin toss to get in. I think he'll be out and Ben Earl will be in.
Ben Earl, Tom Curry,
Although,
Donbrant.
I'm just
Donbrant's
just,
not good enough.
Other number 8s, I think you need to have 2 specialist number 8s.
So I'm just thinking of Borthwick's probably starting team if you had everyone fit and available.
Hamro Liebenberg.
Liebenberg, who is
Rafael.
big.
Yeah,
Well,
Liebenberg's very
I think
big.
it might even be Liebenberg at 7 and Martin at 6.
Well, those are the 2 different teams he's picked. I looked at the previous European Cup rounds when he had all these players available.
Yeah.
For the first game, he picked Liebenberg, Rafael, Visa.
Yeah.
So very traditional back
Yeah,
row.
that's a traditional split, isn't it?
And then in the second round game, I think against Ospreys, he picked, Claremont at home, he picked Martin, Liebenberg, Visa.
Yeah. So it'll depend what you're doing, but
Yeah.
6 Nations, obviously big packs in winter, which means you're going to want. So he might actually pick a bigger pack than you're expecting. So it could be Laws, Curry, Donbrant, or
Yeah.
Laws, Curry, Billy V.
I don't think Donbrant's a guy he likes. He just doesn't.
Donbrant's a bit of a.
He's just unusual, isn't he?
He's a bit of a. I don't know. Hard to put my finger on it.
Peacetime, mate. Not.
Yeah.
No.
But he's not. He's not
No,
a
he's
peacetime mate. He is so unusual.
But there again,
he doesn't do the hard work, but he's so effective at what
I
he
wonder
does.
if there's going to be some
He's
sort
so
of
intelligent.
conflict though between how Steve Borthwick likes his pack to work. So there's no one really like Visa in the English game.
Sam
close-
Simmons is probably the closest.
Yeah,
But he's not
110
as big.
kilograms power.
The,
Not-
the
not-
closest
not
is Ellis Genge.
You're not wrong.
He
there.
is.
You are. You're right.
So put Genge to start, Marler to start at 1 and Genge to start at 8.
So you just need Ben Earl on the field, right? So let's just say he plays 8. He's played 8 before. He can do that job. He's probably going to be dynamite from the base.
I'm not buying that.
You might go Ben Earl at 7, Tom Curry at 8 then. So
no, I think Tom Curry. That's what I think. Curry at 6. This is what I think. If Curry was 6 and Earl was 7, I think there's enough engine and work rate there that Dombrant could go 8 and do what
huge amount of work rate
and do what he does.
Provided, and Dombrant can jump in the line-out.
Yeah,
I'm not having that.
So I think that might be your spring summer England back row: Curry, Earl, Dombrant, and your winter England back row, your autumn winter England back row would be Laws, Curry, and Willis. Let's say.
Do you know Tom Willis' 8 fits that back row better than Dombrant? But here's the thing: is there going to be a conflict between what Nick Evans knows he can do with Dombrant and what Borthwick wants to do with his pack? Why?
What Nick Evans thinks is going to be nothing to do with it, because Nick Evans is there to execute the plan that Steve Borthwick tells him to do. He's not there to make selections.
Well, then get me to do it. Like, genuinely, you don't need to spend big money on one of the brightest minds in the game, one of the brightest attacking minds in the game, if you're just going to tell him what to do.
No, I don't mean that Nick Evans isn't adding stuff, but in terms of like selection of personnel, Steve Borthwick will say, these are the players I want, and this is the broad overview of how we're going to play. Go and make that work.
Yeah, I don't know how the dynamics will work.
Add the flesh on the bones. That's what I think an assistant coach does.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. So Steve Borthwick is a coach that knows a lot of stuff, a lot of detail. But he's also the coach that hands off a lot of detail to people like Alad Walters. He's not afraid to delegate. I honestly don't know how he's going to handle it. So okay, fine. Scrum half.
Sorry. So how many back rows were there in Eddie's squad? Did you say 6?
Or
7?
Laws. Hang on. Where are we? There are 7.
Okay, 7.
With Courtney, with Big Courts.
All right, so we'll have Courts as the hybrid. So if we had to then pick 2 6s, 2 7s, 2 8s, let's do it like that.
Okay.
Because we haven't mentioned like Underhill.
We've not mentioned Ludlam. We've not mentioned Ted Hill.
Works well.
Ted Hill
is playing fantastic. Ted Hill. I could see
he's the most like Liebenberg out of any English player.
Yeah. I could actually see a back row of Courtney Laws, Ted Hill, and then you can have whoever you want. Tom Curry,
that's dynamite. And Hill can play 8 too. And he's big, and he jumps. He jumps probably better than Dombrant.
6'5" and 18 stone.
Love that. That's
the starting back row is going to be Courtney Laws, Ted Hill, and Tom Curry. Ben Earl
that'll do.
Ben Earl on the bench. Okay, so my 6 names, my blind sides are. No, I'm picking 4 7s. Jack Willis, Tom Pearson, Ben Earl, and Tom Curry, with Dombrant and one other. I don't know.
If you just think about traditional 6s, you wouldn't really worry too much, would you, if Tom Curry or Jack Willis just played traditional 6? Just not a problem.
No.
Just happens to be their massive 7s.
France play it like that, don't they?
Well, do they?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, they do, because they don't really have many...
Jalonche plays 7 for Toulouse and 6 for France, and Olivon plays 7, but you could quite happily stick him as 6.
Mocky plays 6, 7, 4.
He's more of a 6, even though he wears... Yeah. But it's the French 7. But he'll pack down at either.
That's the hardest area. Well, that and the back 3 are the 2 hardest areas to pick, aren't they?
Now, one other name that we've not mentioned, back row, who was named as an Indian player in the last squad, Sam Jeffries. No, there's no chance. But it's just, I'm just observing it's an interesting individual to be named.
Yeah, good player, but Eddie, what are you doing? Good player.
Scrum half's going to be fascinating.
Scrum half. I said this as soon as Borthwick got signed. One thing I said was, do you know a statement that Steve Borthwick could make that would say, I'm the new guy, I'm making my own call, and also getting everyone else on side that's not Leicester and making it realise that he's not going to be favouritism to Leicester. I'm going to say Ben Youngs is not going to be in the England squad.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm hopeful.
It'll
be interesting to see, because he could have. Ben Youngs is undoubtedly on a big salary at Leicester. He could have been some of the deadwood that was got rid of, but he wasn't. So maybe he's retained.
Don't never underestimate the amount of influence the young boys have at Leicester.
Mm.
There's always that. It's always been a sticking point there.
Yeah,
There's-
and England.
There's
evidently.
no player that is like symbolic of the Eddie Jones era than Ben Youngs, is there?
Hartley was one in the early days because he wasn't clean cut enough for Lancaster.
Faz is the boy.
Faz is the absolute boy.
Faz is the boy.
always.
Youngs and Faz, the two.
So
of them.
my scrum halves would be I'd have Alex Mitchell.
Correct.
Ooh, great one. Yes.
I'd have Van Portfleet.
Yes.
And then if you're going to have three, do I go Kerr or... I'd go Kerr. I'm not Rafi Quirk. Rafi Quirk would be the other one, but I've just not seen enough of him. He's hardly played.
Yeah, I definitely did first two. Third name could be anyone.
Third name, I would be
you go
inclined to go Rafi Quirk, but you're right, I haven't seen him play for a while, and it's... Yeah, I think I agree with you, Phil.
Yeah. I want to see Alex Mitchell start
JVP,
for
Alex
England.
Mitchell, Danny Kerr.
I genuinely want to see Mitchell start for England.
He's got that tempo, hasn't he?
He's playing fantastic rugby at the moment.
He is.
Almost
agree.
everything good that happens from Northampton comes from Mitchell.
I'm 100% with you.
10.
10. It's going to be Ford, Farrell, Smith.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. I can potentially see like a Ford Smith or a Farrell Smith. But yeah, Ford Farrell Smith would be one.
Yeah, I think they'll be in. Who starts? Don't know.
Farrell. Farrell is starting against Scotland.
I think he will start.
I think Ford starts.
Gets maybe one game under his belt.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean injury if he's fit, like fully fit, Ford starts.
And Farrell back to
I think
12
so. Yeah,
Nope.
I do think. I think we'll go into the World Cup. It'll be Farrell and Ford. Ford and Farrell.
It's going to be Ford or Farrell at 10, but it won't be Farrell at 12. I think they'll call up Kelly.
Yeah,
I think Kelly comes into
So
the
moving
squad,
to 12,
definitely.
definitely Dan Kelly.
Just other 10s that have been in the squad.
Charlie Atkinson.
Charlie Atkinson's been in there. Orlando Bailey's been in there.
Jacob Umang has been in there.
You have to go back. I'm going back a bit. You have to go back a long way.
Sips has been in there.
Piers Francis was in there at one
yes.
point. Sips was in there.
Players
Johnny
are
Wilkinson
still
was in
playing.
there at one point.
Well, players are still playing, mate. Let's not be ridiculous. Stephen Myler.
But yeah, it's going to be those three, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finn Smith is an interesting player as well. He's not going to be there, but he's a nice
The
player.
question is, will notorious Englishman Paddy Jackson make it?
Well, he's allegedly eligible if one of his parents or grandparents was born in Birmingham.
He was born in Birmingham.
I think we know he wasn't born in Birmingham now. However,
Was that debunked?
If you had to pick two inside centres, Dan Kelly, we're all agreed, is one of them, and I think he'll be starting against Scotland.
One of the Atkinsons, Seb or Mark?
No.
Mark's not fit, is he?
This is the issue, right? And everyone moaned about. So I'm losing my voice still. Everyone moaned about Owen Farrell being 12, even though he was the best 12 in England, because there is nobody else.
Well,
Like
because
the only other people
chance.
that are options at 12 are 13s that you're playing at 12, like Ollie Lawrence, like Manu Tuolangi, like Guy Porter,
Or Henry Slater, you do exactly the same thing with, which England have done. There's a few 12s. You've mentioned two of them in the Atkinson brothers.
Fraser
at Gloucester. Dingwall, who's been
Dingwall's a
he was
good
in the Australia squad, I think. But he's been in the squad fairly recently.
Just on that, right?
But I can't see that.
The problem with Eddie Jones is, when you actually really start naming some of these lads, there is some phenomenal talent in England, but they never were given the chance to shine. Two Atkinsons, there is Ollie Lawrence. Was just put. I don't know why he played him at 12. That was absolutely ridiculous. There's Kelly. You mentioned the guy.
Well, hold on. Kelly's only 21 now. He's been injured for like 9 months, but he was in the team and got capped, and then he got injured.
But there was never the opportunity for anyone to emerge. There just wasn't, because Farrell had to play.
No, but hold on. Which? Yeah, but no. I'd say we're looking down different ends of the telescope. I'm saying Farrell had to play 12.
Yeah.
Because there was no one of sufficient standard to warrant him not playing 12.
And I say it's the other way around, which is they just had to find a place for Farrell.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the right way of thinking of it.
I think that's pretty much what
Well,
happened.
It's definitely what you think happened.
Which player was so good at 12 that it would demote Owen Farrell to the bench.
Do you know who it would be? And they never gave him the chance to shine. It's Tompkins. That's who it should be.
Well, yeah, but at the time when he was available as a potential English player, at the time he was a potential England centre, I was saying he should be, and you were saying he was rubbish.
No, well, I said he's rubbish at the Dragons, and he was rubbish at the Dragons. But
That was after he was capped by Wales.
Yeah, but he was rubbish for the Dragons, right?
But when he was a potential England player, he wasn't. You weren't clamouring for him.
He was also...
No, but you got to remember, when I say they didn't have a chance to emerge, you do have a problem with very mature teams, and Saracens would be one of these, which is, it's hard to break into that team. There were a lot of lads that stayed at Saracens for a long time.
He was starting for them.
Well, he wasn't, because Brad Barrett was.
Yeah, but when Brad Barrett went, he was starting. He was there 12.
By the time he started for Saracens, he was already a Welsh player. So, you got a situation where you've
I'm
got
not sure
the guy.
that's quite...
It's pretty much right.
So he first got capped for Wales, I've just looked it up, in 2020, and Brad Barrett retired in 2016, maybe?
Brad Barrett did not retire in 2016.
17?
No way.
I'm not
2020,
sure.
I would say.
Ooh.
22 now. 21, 2020.
23 now. Let's have a look. When did he... It was 2020.
I know it's 2020. I know my rugby film.
Wow.
So
that is a lot later than I thought it was.
Yeah, because I remember he started the whole season. I was like, this guy is not ready to pack it in. Tompkins is the guy who could have promoted.
Wasn't it mostly Barrett and Tompkins that was their centre pairing?
Depends.
So that, but then doesn't that prove Tim's point, because there wasn't anyone available? For the longest time with Eddie Jones, there wasn't. So who was the guy available during that period?
No, it was Tompkins, right? Because even though he wasn't playing for Saracens, Wales had the sense to pick him up.
But because they had no one else.
Well, Wales had options, but Wales will just cut people in order to make sure that the Welsh fought forever. So you could have had him. Do you know Lozowski could have been a 12? Legitimately, why not?
Well,
Slade could have been developed at 12.
Well, yeah, but then you've got the argument of England trying to dictate. Had England have said, Henry Slade, you play 10 or 12 or 13, and he'd played consistently in any one position, Slade and Lozowski are talented enough to do it. But that never happened.
No, it didn't. But,
if Manu had been playing 12 since he was 18, he'd be a damn fine 12. But he hasn't, so you can't then...
He hasn't.
You can't then magic...
They have... I mean, Atkinson's been around... Mark Atkinson's been around for years. They never gave the boys...
Playing for Sedgley Park and Bedford.
Never gave the boys the chance to develop in that position, whereas Wales, they did.
Well, what I will say is, I'll put it this way. In the Premiership, there were 12 or 13... depending on what year it was, spots. Very, very few of them, the person wearing 12 was an English player.
Well, I'll give you another one.
That's basically the issue.
Yeah, that is the issue.
I tell you who might turn out to be the finest 12 in the Premiership over the next few years is Redpath. I mean, he might genuinely become one of the best. They had a chance to have Redpath too. They couldn't give him the chance.
Well, I think...
Although I wouldn't have given him the chance.
I was going to say, I think that's been vindicated since. The ones like Chris Harris, no one spotted. No, not even... No England fan. There were very few, if any, England fans going, I can't believe Chris Harris has gone to Scotland.
Yeah. No problem with that one.
I mean, fair play to him
chance.
with what he's done.
Massively.
But like Max Ajomo looked like he was going to be a star. And
he's a star.
He can't hold down a Bath shirt at the minute, and he's really talented. I guess that's the thing. When you look back, you go, there's very few players, and when you look at the best 12s in the league, none of them are English.
Ryan Mills is English.
And that's something that England have to solve.
That is a big problem. Even someone like Ollie Devoto.
Yeah,
that's another one.
We've not
seen for about a year and a half.
Yeah, he's perpetually injured. Incredible talent, perpetually injured.
Yeah.
You have to go back to the likes of Ben Teo when England had a good alternative option. Good Englishman.
Peak Teo. So I'm going to go Dan Kelly, and I'm going to say no. I don't want Manu in the squad, but I think he will.
Yeah, I don't want Manu anywhere near the squad.
But didn't Borthwick let Manu go?
Correct.
Set him free.
Yeah. So
which now that there is a different thing there, which is Manu will attract one of the highest salaries in rugby because of who he is. And so there is a salary cap. Obviously, England has no salary cap, but I think it's right to have no Manu in the squad.
There is not a DOR in the country, of England at least, who would pay what Manu thinks he's worth to get Manu on his salary cap now.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
And what Manu would be worth in France if he goes abroad.
I don't think the French know what they're buying.
Yeah, he would go for top dollar in
Yeah.
France.
What a
Or
highlight,
Japan.
really, Scott.
Or wherever you want to go.
So the four centres, I'm going to go Kelly,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
Marchant,
Marchant's interesting, though, because he's going to...
not till after the World Cup,
Yeah,
technically.
I know.
He's so good, though.
He is so good.
He's like those are the two best outside centres. So I'm going Slade and Marchant, Kelly, and probably it's hard to pick the fourth one, but I'll go Porter.
Sam James.
I'll go Porter.
Porter's excellent. I love Porter. Love
yeah,
to buy him.
Porter's interesting. I do like Dingwall.
Dingwall's excellent.
He is a
I
12.
think he's good. I'd probably go Ollie Lawrence, given how he's played.
Yeah, Ollie
a
Lawrence,
good
Ollie Lawrence has been superb as well.
Yeah, I would. I'd go
Ollie Lawrence and the boy you just mentioned.
Slade, Marchant,
Slade,
Lawrence, Kelly. Yeah,
But I'd love Porter, though, just to go and bang things.
I'd be the same with you.
Yeah.
Kelly, Slade, Marchant, Lawrence would be my four.
Nice.
Although that does really only give you 112, which is why Faz is going to end up
One and
playing
a half
12.
12s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if you're already thinking, oh, it's all right, I got Ford Farrell, then that doesn't matter, does it?
Now, on Faz playing 12...
Just imagine how much
So not 12, 10.
Twitter's gonna just go insane if that
I
happens.
just see Kelly as being able to defend in a way that's going to complement Farrell brilliantly. I think you're going to see the version of Farrell that plays for Saracens playing for England, which will turn England into an absolute different beast.
Maybe that is more likely.
That's
I think Faz as the 10. I mean, Borthwick spent however much it was, £800,000 a year on Andre Pollard, and Andre Pollard is probably the available 10 most similar to Owen Farrell.
Yeah, agreed. So then
on the planet.
I don't know who the best defensive centre. I do know who the best defensive centre is, and no one's mentioned him. Jonathan Joseph is still the boss, the absolute boss. He won't get in the team. He might get in the team because he's still the boss.
He won't get in the.
And on that other centres you have been involved, Will Joseph recently.
Yeah, he was in the last squad.
If Jonathan Joseph came into that trio, right, of Farrell, Kelly, and then Jonathan Joseph, that would be one hell of a defensive
You'd have
outline.
to drop Marchant or Slade.
Yeah, but neither of them are as good defensively as JJ. I'm just saying, defensively, that is scary good. Scary good. If JJ finds form, he's still the most talented guy out there. He just is. That's just a fact.
Just get the young one.
I think that goes to Marchant, and it hurts me. So the thing I hate most about the Eddie Jones era, I don't hate's a strong word. I don't mean hate. The thing I'm most disappointed about with the Eddie Jones era is Marchant going.
Yeah, Marchant's class. He is class, and also you can play him on the wing, which is great.
Yeah.
But he will not be playing on the wing for me. That would be A. Caden Murray, 100% in.
Oh, is that where we're going to next? Yeah, let's go to wingers.
Wings. So the ones in the last squad were.
I just thought, obviously, the squad's going to be out by the time a lot of people listen to this. But
Yeah.
hey, what the heck? That you can
You'll
go.
be-
You guys know nothing.
absolutely know nothing.
More than likely, no.
So the last named wingers in the first squad were Jack Noel, Caden Murley, Johnny May, although he was injured, although came back from his injury.
Yeah.
Joe Thockenasinger,
Nope.
No.
Max Malins, and then
Max Bailey's interesting.
back three, because they're kind of intertwined, was Freddie Stewart, Henry Arundel, George Furbank, with notable mentions for injured Tommy Freeman and Lewis Liner was mentioned. Do you know who else was mentioned? I've got it in front of me now because I had to
Ollie Hassel-Collins.
check it.
No, he won't be. But he's going to be starting against Scotland.
Not
Anyway.
mentioned. Not mentioned. Ollie Hassel-Collins. He's never played for England.
Winger.
He's not English.
Is he fullback? Is he a winger?
He's a winger. He's only played 2 seasons of Union.
Oh, now Largo.
Rauto Narlago was made.
Wow.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. England press release on the 31st of October 2022. Ratu Narlago was named in that. He's still not played for Bristol unless he played this weekend, as far as I'm aware.
Is he an
Since
army
then.
boy?
Yeah, Army, Fijian Army boy. Played rugby league for a few years. And then signed for Bristol.
So Murley.
Joe Thockenasinger, that's done.
Done, thank God.
Steve Borthwick is much, much better than going, let's get a big man in, regardless of what his club form is.
Yeah.
Well, so Thockenasinger's club form has been good this year, but his kick chase was excellent. He worked incredibly
It
hard
really was,
on
wasn't
his
it?
kick chase. So I don't think
Steve Borthwick does want people that
kicked you. Yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
who's
I don't
playing-
think he'll be in there, but he may well be.
Who's been playing awesome? Anthony Watson.
He has
yes,
been playing.
he's
awesome.
injured, but I agree. So my starting back three, because that helps me pick three of the spots.
Yeah.
If everyone was fit, my starting back three would be wingers Anthony Watson, Ollie Hassel-Collins,
Yeah.
and Freddie Stewart. I think
So
that's a great,
I'm going
great
with-
balance.
Okay, so
Yeah.
specialist fullback, Stewart.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go for three specialist wings, right? And then I'll sort of do something else. Freeman, love him. Hassel-Collins,
Yeah.
and then Murley. Then I'm going to add another one in there, and that's going to be Arundel. And that's the 5-back three that I'm taking.
So you're dropping Watson.
And no Elliot Daly.
Oh, Christ, he has to play.
So yeah. So
Yeah, Elliot Daly's
Let's start
playing.
again.
Yeah, Elliot Daly's playing some nice
Elliot
stuff.
Daly's got to...
He's got to be in the squad at least because he's so versatile as well.
So we've got Elliot Daly's coming in and Max Malins is going out. The Cockers
Max
law.
Malins, I'm not got him either.
Yeah.
So Elliot Daly's you can't have them all. So I agree with you. Henry Arundel's been injured for ages. But,
Yeah.
But let's just assume he was fit. He's in.
He's a wonder kid, isn't he?
So we're going. We're all agreed on Stewart
Yes.
and Daly.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 15 options there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both in.
So really, you got four wingers and maybe one extra.
So Hassel-Collins is going to be in there.
Hassel-Collins. There we go. We've got 3.
Yeah. I would have Hassel-Collins as well. I'd like to see him on the bigger stage.
Caden Murley. I have to have Caden Murley.
I would also. But then,
That's the one where I go. It's a coin toss. It might be someone else.
so I probably would have.
So
I'd
on
have
Watson, am
Watson.
I the only person that would have Watson?
No, I'd have Watson.
So
I
you-
think he's formed since he's come back.
Yeah.
I think
I think
as long as he's fit,
He's elite, isn't he?
he
He's
is.
like
As long as
elite
he's
talent.
fit, he's in.
so is that like the fifth guy, Watson? So
Well,
he's fullback.
he'd be my
he was
first choice right wing, but
Yeah, I think Watson will be in.
Yeah.
so that's
Again,
do you know the guy
Borthwick
who misses
brought him
out?
to.
If I have to, like...
that's 4.
Ha-
We've got 2 left. We haven't even
no, I've
mentioned.
got Daly.
So far we've got Daly and Stewart fullbacks,
Yeah. Locked in.
and
Murley.
Hassel-Collins and Watson.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got Murley.
Murley.
Do you know the guy who would miss out from those 5 for me, though? This is crazy, because I like him. It'd be Stewart.
Because
I think...
you don't like his defence.
I don't like his defence.
I agree. I think he's been found wanting in defence,
Yeah.
but I think he gives you enough of other stuff because he's probably the best 15 in the world under the high ball.
He is often the best 15 in the world, and he does have a couple of nightmares, though.
Yeah, but everyone has a couple of nightmares.
Yeah.
Like, it's a horrible
And
thing to
if
do.
you-
South Africa got at him.
And also, I don't think he's going to start. I think Daly will start at 15, right? So Daly, particularly if you've got...
Isn't this incredible? Like, if you'd have said it, Daly was one of those people that England fans used to rage about.
Yeah.
Every time, Daly shouldn't be playing. He's not a 15. Shouldn't be playing. And it'll be quite delicious to see some of those England fans that were saying that a couple of years ago. Say, Elliot Daly's amazing. What a great player.
I don't really remember that because
I do.
I've always just thought you'd play him anyway. He's so good. However, because he's replacing Mike Brown, really.
People were saying he's not a 15. They're playing him out of position.
Yeah.
And he's been exposed.
So here's my thinking. If you have George Ford, he is creative enough, I think, to probably carry the backline on his own. If you have Owen Farrell thrives on having Elliot Daly with him at the moment. Don't know why, but Elliot Daly seems to be not just a speedster, he seems to be doing everything. Playmaking, ball playing, kicking,
Yeah.
the whole lot. So if you've got Farrell, I think you have to have Daly. Now if Daly's starting, what role is there for Stewart? I don't think there is.
He's not an impact player.
No. So that means you've got Murley, because he is an impact player. Ollie Hassel-Collins, who's the best finisher in the league.
Arundel,
Freeman, who's an elite talent who can cover. Arundel.
You got Watson.
You've got Watson.
I think there's no place for Jack Noel.
Not
No.
even considered him.
So no place for Jack Noel, Johnny May, Joe Thockensinger, George Furbank,
Radwan.
Adam Radwan.
Looking back, Lewis Liner was in the squad.
Yeah.
He could come
Holly
back into it.
Slytome, but Lewis Liner's not played a single minute
Yeah.
this season, has he?
There's a huge caveat with he has to get back to the old Lewis Liner.
Yes.
But he could come back into it.
Ollie Slytome, Paolo Odogwu, Ollie Thorley.
I like him.
I do like Ollie Thorley. He's not going because we've just not
No.
seen enough of him. But
Now there's a guy you can turn into a 12, Tim.
There's another one, but this is why I think, like, bearing in mind the conversations we've had on the lack of 12s and the number of contenders we've got here, this is why I'm saying we need to have a bit more of a joined up approach and have the RFU and clubs working together. And if they can say, look, Tommy Freeman could be World Cup winning 12.
Like Warren Gatland looking at Jamie Roberts and going, him. There.
Exactly. If you can go, take a punt. If you were going to take a punt on 2 players, you go Gloucester, Northampton. Please, can you play Thorley and Freeman at 12?
No, we can't. Just no, we can't.
Other players that's been named in England squads. Josh Hodge was named as an apprentice player in 2020.
He's making a good case for himself, but he's not there.
No.
Rory McConaughey. Nope. Chris Ashton.
No.
Probably not.
There again, Chris Ashton has rebuilt his reputation. Just no.
Had Will Muir continued playing the way he played when he was fit, he would have been in the conversation.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
They are absolutely stacked. So,
what about any of the Sale boys in the back 3?
Roebuck. He's been in a squad, hasn't he?
Aaron Reid's probably...
He was in the Autumn Nations squad, hasn't he?
He might have been...
He was.
Might have been called up.
He was.
I think Reid and Roebuck are both excellent in different ways.
But bearing in mind the names we've already mentioned, they're nowhere near... They're great, but they're not there.
Joe Carpenter.
Tom O'Flaherty, we haven't even mentioned.
He's class.
O'Flaherty's a good
show. But Ollie Woodburn's great.
I love Ollie Woodburn.
They're both great.
The hardest working winger in the Premiership.
Since Miles Benjamin.
This is
yes.
So you could pick any combination of all these names you've said, and I'd be quite happy.
I think Joe Carpenter might have a look at fullback at some point. But no, actually.
But we're talking elite level here, aren't we?
And the other one, who is elite, you don't even question me on this, Sam James. They could get him, squeeze him into the team somewhere. I mean, the stuff that guy does with the ball.
He's just too similar to Henry Slade. It's one. You've got to have 1A or 1B. Can't have both.
Yeah, I don't know how they square these.
So on the back 3, we're agreed on Freddie Stewart and Elliot Daly. We're agreed on Ollie Hassel-Collins, and then we start to depart because we don't have any more unanimous agreements after this point, which highlights how difficult it is. You two would go for Caden Murley. Whereas I would go with... did we all...
I'd go Watson, definitely.
I'd go Watson,
I think we'd
definitely.
all go Watson.
So, yeah.
Would you go Watson as well?
I think so.
That's 4.
Hang on.
So we've got 2 spots left. You can't have Freeman, Murley, Malins, or you can't have them all.
Right. So I'm going to ask a stupid question.
Oh, Arundel would be one. Arundel would be, that's 5.
If he's fit.
Right.
Which...
We need to understand who is the fly half. Right. Because I think...
who do you think it will be? So 2 questions. Who do you think Borthwick will pick?
I think he'll pick Ford.
What if Ford is not played and is not fit?
Ford's not... Okay.
Ford is not fit. So, we've not seen him since...
George Ford will play in the Bath game at the end of the month.
Yeah. So, in that case, if it's Farrell, okay, I think that opens the door. Daly starts, probably Watson, Arundel, something like that, right? And the reason I say that is because if Smith starts, I think it's really important that someone like Murley is there, someone who understands how Smith operates to get on the end of balls, to do the things that he does well. So it's going to depend on what the combinations are. So you start with your most important combination, or your most important player, which is your 12, and you work out like how is this all going to go, go from here. I think the only one who's certain to play, if the 10 stay at 10 is Kelly. I think Kelly's weirdly, for a guy who's got no caps, is like the only nailed on starter, because I can't really see much of an alternative. I do like the
alternative is either Faz or you're forcing Lawrence or Slade or Manu or someone who's not a 12 to be a 12.
Yeah, Slade Martin is a lovely combination. It's really one of my favourite combinations.
It's good on paper, but
England have played well with that.
I'm trying to think of the games that they played. They played it all
with who? Sorry?
Slade and Marchant.
Slade and Marchant.
They were forced into that when there was an early injury.
Was it Tuilagi?
Marchant was on the wing. There was an early injury to Manu against South Africa in 2021. And Marchant went into 13, Slade went into 12, and they won. They beat South Africa.
Yeah, I just love that. I love that. I love that combo.
Slade's a big unit. He's not. He's much better.
He's tall and rangy.
He's developed that side of his game.
He's not an Andre Esterhazy.
He's not Andre Esterhazy or Diolande.
I understand.
Or a Henshaw. He's not even a Fiku.
No.
I understand why a 10 could struggle to play 12. I can understand why moving an out-and-out 13 to 12 could be a struggle. I can't for life understand for me why a guy whose first position is 13 and second position is 10 can't play 12. I just can't understand that. And he must be going as the second 12, I guess. But yeah, Kelly will start because I think he obviously works well with Ford. I think he'd be perfect for Farrell.
I really like that point. I think that I'm coming round to Faz Kelly axis for the 2023 World Cup.
Yeah, so you've got Faz, it means you have Daly. You get Ford, it means you can do other things.
Oh, I'm still shocked that it was only 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, really, that Brad Barrett retired. Bring him back.
Yeah,
he's only 36. Ben Teo must still be playing in Japan somewhere.
Yeah. But like, if you've got if you've got that, I think you can get an absolute weapon at 13. Arundel can play 13. Freeman can play 13. Marchant's an excellent.
Marchant's great 13 on wing.
It's a Marchant will start. So Kelly, Kelly definitely.
Marchant or Slade. I don't actually mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Marchant could play on the wing.
No,
genuinely. He played well for England, and he's played there. Like Northmore's pushed him out there for Quins a bit.
He was in an England squad.
He was. Northmore was in England.
I'll tell you another one who we've not spoke about who should be considered. Will Evans. He's superb.
Interesting. Could you imagine Will Evans, Ben Earl, and Sam Simmons as Borthwick's first back row?
It'd be incredible. It'd be an incredible selection. I would not expect it, but yeah,
it would be out there.
He'd be out there. Yeah.
That's his summer back row.
Yeah. So the answer is I don't know, and I don't know. That's
what's also fun is that this whole podcast just could be a comical list of players that are nowhere near the England squad that we're talking about.
And there'll be at least 10 players that we've not even mentioned in the England squad.
Harry Potter, Steve Borthwick loves him at Leicester.
I love Harry Potter.
Good player.
So, just give me two random players who we've not mentioned, but you think could make the squad. Any position.
Oh God.
Oh man, I can't.
Because you must have mentioned about 75 players in that. Who have we not mentioned?
No, I can't think of it.
Not Orlando Bailey. There's not a Ben Spencer.
I did think about Spencer when we were listing names, but I didn't actually say him. So let's put him as one because he came across my mind. We mentioned Finn Smith briefly.
Let's take Elliot Stook as one then, because I know I mentioned him and then reverse straight away.
Great club player. Doesn't take his conditions.
What about just a big unit?
He's a huge unit.
Levy's.
Stefan Levy's. Has he not had a South Africa cap?
Don't know.
He's huge.
He's huge. He's a very good player.
I think he's a great player, good guy. I don't want him because he's South African.
Racist.
Are you happy with
racist?
I have a slight issue with Ribbons. And let the records say on the podcast, I said Ribbons is a great player.
He has one cap for South Africa in 2014. So, unless he's got English parents, he's ineligible.
Mm.
But if he's got English parents or grandparents...
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a very different matter altogether. Same as like when people used to call me a hypocrite because I quite like Dylan Hartley playing for England. It was
hypocrite.
He's got an English mum. So
qualifies. Have that.
Yeah.
What about John O'Ross coming into the team, mate?
Does he have an English parent?
He does.
Fair enough.
He was the first English descent or
English speaking captain of the Bulls.
Yeah. First language English.
Captain every team he's ever been part of, I think, except for Saracens and Harlequins. So no, not every team at all. Every team
half the teams he's been part of.
But he did captain Stade-Francais, and that's no mean feat.
Did he? He must have played age grade in South Africa.
Yep. So
captain.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Right. So I think we've nailed it. I think we've absolutely nailed it. Are you going to keep a list of what we got right and what we got wrong?
No, absolutely not.
Have you not put it in your spreadsheet?
No.
Picked?
No. I only record things that matter.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. It's huge. You more excited about this or Eddie Jones's first Australia squad? An absolute rupture.
I don't care about the squad. I just want to. I'm equally excited about this squad as I am about the first Eddie Jones press conference.
Carl Ferns. Carl Ferns 8.
Yeah.
That's one we've not mentioned. Good shout. And Callum Chick.
Callum Chick.
We didn't mention Callum Chick.
Right.
Or Sean Robinson.
Yeah, we're just randomly naming Premiership players now.
Brett Conan,
Get Brett Conan in.
Mickey Young,
Will Hayden Wood. If
Yes.
he's not in the team, it's an absolute scandal.
Where is Will Hayden-Wood now?
Great question. Don't
Did he
know.
ever surface?
I tell you, a guy who, in other circumstances would be considered is blonde-haired guy, plays 15 for Wasps, standard sort of Wasps fly half fullback type fare.
Charlie Atkinson.
No, the
No.
one who went from Saracens.
Yeah, him.
Oh,
What's his name?
Crossdale.
Ali
Crossdale.
If he lands in a good club,
He was an apprentice for Eddie Jones in
Yeah.
one squad. It's ridiculous when you look back.
The number of players that Eddie kind of gave the once over in the training paddock. Nope, never again.
some Spink, give some Spink a quick run, 12 or 13.
Remarkable.
Right, you know all
God,
the
it's
stuff.
after midnight.
Yeah, I know. You know all the
Time
stuff.
flies when you're having fun, though.
If you appreciate the podcast, hit subscribe. Patreon.com/EggChasers and all that jazz.